Welcome to the Baltimore Breakdown Podcast, featuring your mother's favorite podcaster, Ook, with Cakes Mitchell, baby.
What is going on, guys? My name is Cakes Mitchell.
What?
Introduce yourself.
Ooga-dooker.
And together we are the Baltimore Breakdown, coming off a hot win in Pittsburgh. Huge win for the Ravens. They move on to 3-1 with their only loss coming to the Cincinnati Bengals on a road game. So far the Ravens are looking pretty good. So let's recap a little bit the game that was Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh that we stole the win out of. What did you think about the game? What were your thoughts? Offense, defense, as a whole?
The Pittsburgh game. I mean, we came off out the gate, obviously looking pretty good. Looking really good out of the gate. Our defense was playing well, and then, as a Ravens fan and over these years and, knowing how these Pittsburgh games go, even when we got out to that 14-0 lead, as much as I wanted to believe, hey, we're about to beat down the Steelers, this is going to be nice.
Yeah.
You just know that somehow something's going to happen, and they're going to get back in it, and it's going to get a little bit closer.
Well, they kind of showed that, going into halftime, they tied it up 14-14.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we got up to 14-0, I knew that wasn't going to last.
Right.
And the moment we had to really bust that game open was when Alex Collins fumbled it at the goal line, which he has had fumble problems early on in his career. So I think he's corrected those for the most part. I mean, you're going to fumble every once in a while. But I don't think that's good for how high the Ravens seem to be on Buck Allen for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I mean, John Harbaugh, what was it, last week or the week before, really overhyped Buck Allen. Talk about how he was an excellent player and all this stuff, and he's one of the best at what he does in the league.
He kind of alluded him saying that he thought he was one of the best backs in the league. And I was
yeah. I mean, I like John Harbaugh, but man, I hope he's just saying that. I hope he doesn't truly believe that. Because if he truly believes that and his actions kind of dictate that, I don't think that's in the best interest of our football team, because Buck Allen is not even the best back on our team, and it's not even close, in my opinion.
Well, I think Buck kind of solidified himself as the goal line back now, though, because I don't think that we're going to give Collins a chance again.
I think that fumble definitely hurt him, because for some reason they are high on Buck Allen. And I think that fumble kind of solidified in their mind that Buck Allen needs to be there on the goal line, which is insane to think to me. As hard as Alex Collins runs and as strong as that guy is, that's insane to me. But getting back to the flow of the game for the Pittsburgh game, even up 14-0, as good as we looked right off the rip there, you get that feeling in the back of your head. You're just like, no, I can't, I can't go to sleep early. I can't relax. I can't turn this game off because something's going to happen. And then sure enough, right on cue, that fumble happens. They capitalize. We go in tied at 14. I'm like, here we go again. But our defense really, really stepped up. I think more so than anything, our defense was probably the highlight of this game. I think they get the game ball, or whatever you want to call it. Pittsburgh is one of the most talented offenses in football, even without Le'Veon Bell. I mean, what they put up the other week against the Bucs, 40?
Yeah.
The Browns kind of held them in check, so to speak, but the Browns have a solid defense, too. Pittsburgh puts up points generally.
I think I saw a stat that even after this game, they're still top 3 in offense in the league.
I mean, so the fact that we held them to what? We held them to 14.
Under 300 yards.
Wasn't it 14? They didn't score in the second half, right?
Points,
We shut them out in the second half.
We held them to under 300 passing yards, I think.
That's a really good sign, especially not having Jimmy Smith, who typically goes on Antonio Brown. I mean, they had Brandon Carr on him, right? Or was it Marlon Humphrey?
I think they did more of a mix-up kind of a thing.
Whoever it was,
Brandon was on.
They did a pretty good job on Antonio Brown. I mean, what do you have, 6 for 50 and a tud or something like that? I mean, I'll take that all day on Antonio
for holding
Brown.
Antonio to one touchdown, I'll take that every time, every matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Juju broke out a couple times. Juju, in my opinion, is really becoming a top-notch receiver.
Makes me mad we passed on him.
Yeah, Juju is looking really good for them. But anywho, I think the defense was the story of this game. We got enough points to get the win, but I mean, it's not like our offense was overly dominant. I mean, Fitzmagic put up 40-something on the Steelers. Was it 42 or 40?
Yeah.
So I think Joe even said that after the game. He said, we did get the win, but I thought there was a lot more chances to be had.
Well,
I think that's the exact quote that I think that he said. He said there was
we
a
had
lot
that
more.
one play where he overthrew Crabtree that was easily a 7-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
And then we had the John Brown, the PI
fumble,
call that didn't get called.
Fumbled the goal line.
And that call that John Brown didn't get the PI call that was in the end zone.
Yeah.
And he probably would have caught that ball if he wasn't held on to.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's definitely a lot more opportunities to be had, so I don't think that our offense exactly blew it out the park, but they did enough to win. I just thought that our defense looked really well, and I think that's a good sign because, when it comes to the postseason, it's defense historically. I mean, look at it. Most of the time, the team with the better defense wins in these Super Bowls, in these playoff runs. That's generally the deciding factor. A good defense and a quarterback that can be good in the clutch. So, I mean, I like the way things are looking. I think we can probably tune out or work out some of the kinks on offense still, because I still think this team is kind of finding its rhythm and identity on offense.
Oh, I don't think so whatsoever.
I think so.
I think it's pretty clear cut that we're a pass first team, and I mean we're top 5 in offense right now.
I think that there's a little bit of an identity crisis because we don't necessarily have a solidified top running back, so to speak.
Well, I don't even think we need. I mean, I think Collins is that guy, but I think that
I think we're passing the ball too much. I think we need to get a better balance.
I just think if you don't fix something that isn't broken. I mean, if Flacco is hitting these dump off passes,
broke against the Bengals.
But that whole game is kind of skewed though, because when C.J. Mosley went down, it was the defense that fell apart. If the offense puts up 21 points, I think our defense is good enough that we should be able to win games.
I don't know.
And when A.J. Green is just capitalizing,
I think there was
off
some very poor coaching and play calling in that game. I think that game was there to be had.
You had 2 inside linebackers in that game, in Kenny Young and Peanut, that were just lost without C.J. Mosley.
Regardless of that, that game was there.
That
game was there to be had if called correctly. I mean, I think we both even agreed to that after the game happened.
It's hard to say though, because the entire middle of the field was wide open, and it's basically your quarterback going down on defense.
You like going through revisionist history and changing your opinions on things.
C.J. Mosley is a key part, and Weddle wasn't given the mic to the helmet; it was given to Peanut, who can never run a defense in my mind. And if you go back on the podcast, I don't think I said anything about.
When I got on the coaching and the play calling for that, you agreed with me. But anywho, I thought that the defense played excellent for containing the Steelers' offense. They got some interceptions on Ben that he was clearly frustrated. And I think if we can do that to an offense like that, and be effective on offense and work out the kinks. I mean, I'm not saying Super Bowl yet. I think we have a lot of kinks to work out on offense. We need to get a better balance in, because against those upper level defenses, if you're one dimensional like that in the past, it's going to be really tough. But I really liked how our defense looked.
All right, well, let's move on to the next topic here.
Did you give yours?
I kind of chimed in a little bit. I thought that we played really well. I thought our offense looked great. I think I'm more high on them than I think that you are. And that might just be me being optimistic. I think that we're really showing what we can do, and that's without the key piece of our first-round draft pick coming back hopefully this week in Hayden Hurst. So super excited to see what he brings to the table. But, I mean, we have those drop problems with Crabtree, so that's disappointing. I mean, I think he had like 2 or 3 drops that game, which sucks. But overall, if Flacco is playing as well as he is and he's having those drop problems, I mean, Flacco is playing phenomenal. He has 8 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions was his fault. The other one, his arm was hit. So
he has 3 fumbles.
But he's playing lights out. And that was also to go to the offensive line. I mean, I think that they really tightened up the past 2 games.
I don't know about lights out.
I think Flacco is on pace to throw for over 5,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. That's MVP caliber talk right there.
With, what is it, however many fumbles as well. Turnovers.
He only has 2
He has 3
interceptions.
fumbles.
Either that's him trying to extend a play. I don't put fumbles
Him
on a
being
quarterback.
careless.
I don't think so because he's trying to extend a play.
That's being careless. Sometimes you're not supposed to extend the play.
But
You
that
throw
was
it away,
that
make
was the
the
game.
veteran move.
That was the game against Cincinnati where we had to go up a touchdown.
And you also have to have better awareness of the pocket. You have to be able.
There
to
was
feel
no
the rush.
pocket that game. Our offensive line against the Bengals
Every
was
time
atrocious.
Flacco, they were just talking about on TV the other day how the Ravens' offensive line is playing beautifully. And
the past 2 games, I agree.
Anytime Flacco does something wrong, you always blame the offensive line.
I hate James Hurst with
Our
a passion.
offensive line is what probably top 10 right now in the league in terms of pass protection.
Because
they're ranked
Flacco's
very
getting rid of the
high.
ball so quickly, but when he tries to extend a play and gets out of the pocket,
Can you not give any credit to anyone besides Flacco? You said our offense.
he's playing phenomenal.
You just said our offensive line is playing
Yeah.
well because of Joe Flacco.
because
That's
he
what
gets
you
rid of the
just
ball
said.
quickly.
So
They
they're
don't-
not playing well. Flacco's just putting them in a position.
So
to play well.
let me get this straight. You want me to believe that James Hurst would be able to contain Von Miller for more than 2 seconds?
He did.
No, he did not, because we got rid of the ball. Or we threw it to the other side of the field where Von Miller wasn't.
He played well that game.
We schemed out of Von Miller. James
you
Hurst did not play well that game.
As you should scheme
He
out of
didn't
Von
get a
Miller.
chance to play at all because
As you should scheme out of Von Miller, but altogether
we knew that part of our offensive line was bad.
So, key word you just said, scheme. So, who makes the scheme? Does Flacco make the scheme?
No, the coach does.
Okay.
Right.
So, even if you were to...
I just can't
even
believe
if
you will not give Flacco any credit.
Even if you-
say he's on pace for over 5,000 yards, and you will not give this man credit that he is playing lights
He's throwing
out.
2 touchdowns a game, Cakes. And
He has-
we've thrown the ball... In the Bengals game, we threw the ball 53 times.
He should have more touchdowns because Crabtree is dropping balls. We have John Brown had a couple of things that should have been touchdowns. He had tight end that was half of a yard
and
short.
a couple balls that should have been picked, too. That's the way it goes. That stuff balances out.
Sure.
But anywho, so you're willing to rob the offensive line of their credit.
Ronnie Stanley's playing great, except
You
when
can't give any credit to those offensive linemen.
Yonda and Stanley are playing great. Alex Lewis is playing all right. Our
That's
center,
4.
huh? That's 3.
You had said one before them, didn't you?
I repeated Ronnie Stanley.
Oh.
Matt Skura. Okay.
Okay, so he's not playing bad. So 4 out of 5, in your opinion, are playing not bad. 3 good, 1 neutral.
Well, Stanley's hurt too, so that doesn't help his case. He's been wearing a brace.
But they're playing well.
Yeah, they're playing pretty good.
Okay.
Except when they have to hold the line for more than like 3 seconds.
But whose fault is that when they're supposed to? Because what is it? The quarterback's taught to get rid of the ball in how many seconds? So
Joe-
who does that fall on?
I'm not going to answer your question.
Probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't. What were we talking about?
How great Flacco's playing. Will you admit that Flacco is having his best season so far to date?
That's not saying much.
Okay. On pace for 5,000 yards isn't saying much.
He's throwing the ball 53 times a game.
Right, because our running backs can't get anything.
No, because our freaking coaching is piss poor in terms of giving Buck Allen freaking carries on the run and not establishing Alex Collins as a 50-50
decisively
run game.
winning games, why would we not
We're not.
play?
We're 3-1.
Every game that we've won has been decisive, and the Bengals game was weird, and we should have won that game. We didn't. I get that, but
And we didn't probably because we didn't have a well-balanced attack. They were able to
no,
key
because our
in.
defense fell apart. What are you
Flacco
talking
threw
about?
2 picks.
We gave up 30 points.
Flacco threw 2 garbage picks and had a fumble.
He had 1 garbage pick, and 1 his arm was hit.
No, dude, fumble.
Do you want me to pull up the play where his arm got hit?
Yeah, he has to have awareness, Cakes.
He's making a play, bro. We're
No,
losing
he's
the
not.
game.
No, he's not.
You are crazy.
He's making a play for the other team is what he's making.
You are
No.
insane.
You're deluded. You're blinded by your affection for Joe Flacco.
You won't see it. You will never give Joe Flacco credit, even if he was put up 1,500 yards so far this season. You'll be like, well, we're only passing the ball. We're not running the ball.
You can rewind simply to last week. I know that's a long time to rewind the tape back to something as far as last week when I said Flacco played good.
He's playing great.
He played good in the Denver game. He played piss poor in the Cincinnati game.
No, he did not. He put up over 300 yards.
He threw the ball 53 times.
Right,
Old
bro.
Jimmy Johnson from down the street there on 7th Avenue that smokes a crack
what do you
pipe
want the
every
Ravens
morning.
to do when their running backs can't do anything?
It's not the running back's fault. It's the scheme.
It's not the running back's fault when they're given 20 chances to rush and they're getting 2 yards to carry.
Bro, did you watch the Denver game? Did you see how Alex Collins had nowhere to go at all?
Right. So
As good
shouldn't
as-
we pass if we can't get a push on the offensive line? Shouldn't we then transition and pass the ball?
We need to maybe not try and run freaking off to the weak side with Alex Collins.
Von Miller's on the other side, you dummy.
For that, I'm not saying just for that game. I'm saying in general. Maybe not run plays to the weak side. Maybe not get Alex Collins going left and right. Maybe do some more up the middle runs where he's actually more powerful.
Collins is better in
and more
space.
effective. I think he's better straightforward north and south.
No.
He's powerful runner.
That's Buck Allen. Buck Allen's a north and south guy. Collins is great.
Then why is he running around catching balls and doing, they're setting him up for screens and all this stuff?
Collins?
No, Buck Allen.
I don't know.
Because they think he's a elusive runner.
No, they don't. He's averaging 2 yards a carry until he gets to the goal line. Right, because he's a north and south runner. Bruisers don't get big chunks of yards. They get 3 or 4 yards.
Adrian Peterson was a bruiser.
Oh, so you're comparing Buck Allen to Adrian Peterson? Gotcha.
Absolutely not. I'm saying Buck Allen's not a bruiser.
All right, who is your
Buck
offensive
Allen is a garbage
MVP
can.
from last game?
Offensive MVP?
Yeah.
Probably old Johnny Boy again. Johnny Boy's been playing some excellent football. He is really making Flacco look good, for sure. He's making some amazing catches. Mm-hmm. He's quick. He gets off well.
Especially that PI call when he didn't even go for the ball.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. Okay.
They had grabbed him. They held him.
He could have made an effort for that ball, but instead he threw his arms up, wanting a PI call.
Rightfully so. He's getting freaking mauled.
They barely tugged on his jersey, but okay.
Come on,
my
man.
offensive MVP is going to be Joe Flacco because he is playing absolutely phenomenally, averaging over 300 yards a game, 8 touchdowns in 4 games.
God.
I can't wait to see your face and our friend's face when Flacco does and will have his best season ever. You give him some average to above average talent around him, and he's just going to play phenomenal, which he is. And that's without his first-round draft pick, which he loves, Hayden Hurst at tight end.
You would know who Joe Flacco loves.
Okay. Who's your defensive MVP from last game?
I really like the way Levine was flying around there attacking the ball.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, too.
I think Levine gets it.
Yeah, I mean, when we play the dime, and we have him in there, he's just flying all over the field.
He's being a ball hawk.
Yeah, which is cool to see. And when we're able to stop the run like we did last game, we're able to play that kind of defense, which is nice. Take out inside linebacker, put Levine in.
Yeah. Funny little game everyone should start playing for when they do Steelers primetime games from now on. Take a shot every time they talk about how James Conner survived cancer. You'll be drunk in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, they did comment on a lot.
The annoying part about it is, it's one thing if he didn't come out and say. He came out and asked them to stop talking about that. He came out publicly and said he wants to be known as a football player.
Why are we talking about this?
It's just annoying.
Yeah, but why are we talking about it?
Because it's been something that's bothering me. This is my podcast.
It's your podcast?
It's mine and unfortunately yours.
Okay.
But
when that next $14 installment comes in, I'll expect half the money.
I pay all the installment. Don't even try and put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Okay.
Pseudo.
Mm-hmm.
What was I saying? Oh, how annoying it is. So if he didn't ask for that, then sure, definitely, cancer survivors are extremely strong and resilient people. But if he doesn't want that talked about, you should respect that. Respect his wishes when it comes to stuff that had going on in his personal life. And every other play, they're like, that's James Conner. He's a fighter. He beat cancer and all this stuff, which is great if that's what he wants. But you're violating kind of his privacy, so to speak. If he doesn't want that talked about and he wants to be known as a football player, it just sounds so played out and gimmicky, like that, you know what I mean? The way that they're using it, and they're trying to just continue talking about it to like get people invested or something like that. When I think that he's not wanting that out there anymore and wants to be known for his performance on the field, I don't think that's good.
Well, if I was James Conner, I wouldn't want to be known as my performance on the field, putting up 19 yards.
Well, yeah, but it just has been annoying. I've noticed it because the Steelers have had primetime games back-to-back weeks now.
Have they? I didn't. Oh, they had the Monday night game.
Yeah, the Bucks. And I mean, I swear, every other play, they're like, well, yeah, this guy survived cancer. He was in treatment for 12 years, and he wants to be known as a football player. And I'm like, then why are you saying it? So, yeah.
All right, let's move on. Next week, Jimmy Smith his suspension is up. He's finally able to return. He returned to practice today. Knock on wood. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that they're going to rotate him in? Obviously, I think he's probably our best corner, but we have to see if he's in football shape. What do you think? I guess more specifically, because I think he has the number one corner on lock. What do you think they're going to do up at the number 2 spot with Brandon Carr and Marlon Humphrey?
I think they should. I think they should rotate Jimmy in, not rush him back out there or risk him getting hurt or something like that. I mean, the defense is playing really well right now. I don't think it's going to hurt to start him off rotating and kind of blend him in slowly because, I mean, we're playing well right now. Marlon Humphrey and Brandon Carr are actually playing pretty well. So I think that's the safe bet for right now. I mean, if we weren't playing as well, then, yeah, it might be better to risk it all and put him right in there. But I like him as rotational for a game or two, and then get him back in there at his regular spot.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Jimmy just go out there and like be a full-time starter because
I mean, in an ideal world, but I mean, injury is a big risk.
Yeah, but I just don't like the thought of not having our best players on the field. And Josh Gordon, I don't want to have that on my conscience if he goes out and breaks a big play when Jimmy Smith is not on the field next week. So I think if he's in shape and he's ready to go, which he said that he has been practicing and not practicing, but he's been keeping himself in shape, that I think that he should be good to go. So I'm excited about his return, and will make our defense even better than it has been playing, which is already a top 5 unit. All right, so our offense statistically has been playing great, and they are a top 5 unit as well. Do you think the offense is going to be able to keep their top 5 status the remainder of the season?
To quote Jordan Belfort, absolutely effing not.
Oh my God.
I just don't see it happening. I don't think we have the quarterback in place to maintain that type of offense.
So crazy.
I just don't see it happening, especially if we don't balance up the attack, which it doesn't seem like they have any intention of doing for whatever reason. This offense will decline. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong, but I do not see it happening.
I don't think that we're going to be able to keep up in the top 5 because that's a tall status to hold. But I definitely think that we're a top 10 unit. It's just because a lot of our offense relies on explosive plays from people like John Brown, and with Crabtree not being able to securely catch every single ball, it makes third downs that much harder, and for Flacco has one less reliable target to go to. But I do like the addition of Hayden Hurst. That's to be determined to see how he plays. But I do think our offense will stay really, really good, but I don't know if we'll be able to stay in that top 5 area. I think Flacco has been playing great. But again, I think a lot of it has to do with John Brown and if he's able to keep his performance up. Because again, a lot of John Brown's plays have been from huge chunks and yardages and things like that. And is he able to
highest yards per catch in the league, isn't it?
I think he's number 2.
He's up there.
But I think is he able to catch a 50-yard pass every single game to keep those stats up? I'm not sure. And I think that we will cool down a little bit, but I still think that we'll be a top 10 unit for the rest of the season. What are you doing? What are you doing with your lips? All right, next week we have the Cleveland Browns. We have our last road divisional game in Cleveland at Sunday, I think at 1 o'clock. What do you expect from this game? Do you think this is a trap game for the Ravens? Do you think this is going to be a difficult game with Baker Mayfield playing as well as he has?
I think we get this one. Baker showed in his first start that he, is not perfect. I mean, he had a couple of bad interceptions, a couple of bad fumbles, and that was against the Raiders. So against our defense, the way we're playing right now, I think it's going to be a long day for Baker. I could see us probably walking away with this one pretty handily.
Yeah, I think that our defense is going to show Baker some schemes that he hasn't seen yet, and it's just we always beat up on new rookie quarterbacks, no matter how good that they look.
A la Nick Foles.
So
remember Nick Foles? Ed Reed picked him 109 yards, touchdown.
So I think that we're going to show Baker a lot of looks that he hasn't seen.
It's going to be a long
before.
day for the Baker boy.
Yeah, but I think that Baker might have a decent game, and he might play a lot more safe than he's, I guess, used to.
I don't think that's the way he plays, man. I think it's going to be a rough game for
I think
him.
he understands that he's playing a very stout defense, and he knows how talented we are. I don't think that he's going to try to pick apart
I think
our
he
DBs.
is. I think Baker's got a chip on his shoulder, man. He is an all-out kind of guy.
I think he knows that if he's going to win this game, he's going to have to take it slow, and it's a long game, and not try to rely on big chunks against our defense. If he's going to win, it's going to have to be underneath. It's going to have to be the short routes and hope that someone busts out and gets a big play.
I think he's going to try and overcompensate and do it all himself.
I hope he does try to do that because I think that will be great news for the Ravens. Because I think if you give Eric Weddle or Tony Jefferson or any of our DBs this opportunity to have the ball that deep in the backfield, I think is a good move for the Ravens.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our picks, and I also think that's going to be a win for the Ravens. What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? All right, Slurpee picks. Go down these real quick, guys. All right.
What's the standings?
We still have to. There's still a few games that we haven't accounted for. I still think I'm in first place though.
Put them in. Let's tell the
Browns
people.
or Raiders.
Let's tell the people
who won the Browns Raiders game.
Let's look it up
NFL
so the
scores.
people know the standings going into this week.
All right, guys.
The pennant race.
Browns Raiders.
Raiders won. Raiders won that game. 45-42.
Hold on, I'm just pulling this over here. Browns Raiders. I picked the Raiders. Everyone else picked the Browns.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. I thought the Browns had that game, man.
Let's go back to all the ones we already have. Vikings Rams.
Rams
all picked the Rams, so I got that one. Bills Packers. We all picked the Packers. We all got that one.
Yeah.
Bengals at Falcons. We all picked the Falcons, but the Bengals
won. Dirty bastards.
I hate that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I watched. That was a great game, though.
Yeah.
That was a really good game.
Calvin
I watched
really
that whole
was
game.
balling.
I watched that whole game. That was a really good game.
Lions at Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys. Duker picked the Lions. I was right.
Cowboys barely won that freaking game, man. Lions should have won.
But they didn't. The Texans at Colts. We all picked the Colts, but the Texans won. Dolphins at Patriots. We all picked the Patriots. Patriots won. Jets at Jags. We all picked the Jags. Jags won. Eagles at Titans. We all picked the Eagles, but the Titans won. Bucks at Bears. We all picked the Bears. No. He didn't give you a point for this.
What?
You picked the Bears, but he didn't give you a point for that.
Who picked the Bucks?
Our friend.
Did he really?
Wait, no. I messed up here. Yeah. Okay, so Bucks at Bears. Me and you picked the Bears. He picked the Bucks. And then Browns at Raiders. I picked the Raiders. You picked the Browns. Seahawks at Cardinals.
Seahawks barely won.
Seahawks won. We all picked the Seahawks.
Barely, man. I don't know how that game was.
All
so
right,
close.
Saints at Giants. Saints won. We all picked the Saints.
Chargers barely won too.
Chargers won. Playing the Niners. Steelers at Baltimore. We all picked the Steelers, but the Ravens won.
I'll gladly accept that loss.
Yeah, me too. And Chiefs at Broncos. We all picked the Chiefs, and the Chiefs won.
Patrick Mahomes is the real. Holy crap! Did you see that left-handed throw?
Yeah. People need to calm down. I like Patrick Mahomes a lot too, but
Oh
he's
my
only
God.
played 4 games.
He's
or 5
amazing.
games.
He in that game versus the Broncos, he had the most passing yards outside the pocket in
I
any.
think you have a bigger hard-on for Mahomes than any person I've seen before.
I just came around to him, man. The first couple weeks, I wasn't sold on him. Remember?
People were sold on Jimmy G too, and he just tore his ACL. So.
Dude, Mahomes is different. Mahomes has more elements than Jimmy G.
Heard this before.
I just got sold on him, not from this past game, but the game before.
I like it. I think he has a lot of promise, but I wouldn't.
The most passing yards ever outside of the pocket
also has
in
a
one
very
game
explosive offense.
in NFL history.
Okay.
The entire history of this game.
Everyone needs to calm down about Mahomes. You also remember when Nick Foles tied the passing touchdown record, and we've seen how his career has gone.
Nick Foles is Super Bowl MVP. I think his career's done okay.
Quarterback that season.
I think his career's done okay.
It's done okay. He was thrown into a Super Bowl, and he guarantee he won it, but he was a backup quarterback up until that point.
And he started and won 2 games for the Eagles this year.
Everyone needs to slow their roll on Mahomes. I think that he will be
He's the real deal. He's the real deal,
After
dude.
4 games, nobody can say that.
He's the real deal.
I will never judge a quarterback as a whole until after they've had their first slump, which is inevitable.
Well, that's easy to do. The hard thing to do is to go out on a limb, and I'm going out on a limb.
Everyone is saying that they're going out on a limb for Mahomes just because he's had.
Nope.
You're not going out on a limb saying Mahomes is going to be a good quarterback when he's been playing, breaking NFL
because
records.
It's only 4 games.
No, because he's broke NFL record. If he had a pretty good.
So did RG3. RG3 didn't turn out well, and I knew it. I called it from the get-go. I said RG3 was overrated.
Well, if you're a running quarterback, you're bound to break your leg. It's inevitable.
Mahomes doesn't run to run, though. He runs to throw.
Okay.
That's why he had the most passing yards out of the pocket.
I didn't say he was a running quarterback. I said RG3 was.
Doug, that was one of the coolest plays I've ever seen. This man is running for his life.
It was
from Von Miller.
You're gonna get me evicted. It was
running from
good.
his life.
It was pretty good
for his life from Von Miller.
People are
the hard right.
People are.
I'm watching it. I'm laying in my bed watching this game, and I know Mahomes is right-handed. I see him running to the right, like in a position where it is impossible to make a throw with his right hand, and I see the ball come out and get to the receiver, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? How did that ball get there? And then it clicked. Before the announcer said it clicked for me, I said, he just threw that with his freaking left hand. And then it took for a minute for the announcers to see it, and then they said, he threw that with his left hand, and then they shoot the replay. This man, mid-stride, running for his life from Von freaking Miller, puts the ball in his left hand and throws a dart.
Not a dart, but it was pretty good.
In
pass.
stride.
Not a dart. It was calm down.
Right to number 10 there on the drag route.
You're poking me with your baggage there under the table.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That was an awesome play. I was like screaming at my TV once I realized he threw it with his left hand.
People need to relax. RELAX, relax. It's 4 games.
That was amazing.
It's 4 games.
That was amazing.
All right, let's move on to our picks for this week. All right, we have the Colts at the Patriots on Thursday Night Football.
Patriots. I'm
also taking the Pats. Falcons at Steelers. That should be a good game. I think I'm going to take the Falcons. I'm not 100% sold on the Steelers. I'm taking the Falcons. So all right, we got the Ravens at the Browns. We both said Ravens.
Yep.
We got Broncos at Jets. I'm going to take the Broncos.
I'm going to take the Broncos too. Sam Darnold's been having a little bit of a rough go lately, and I don't think Denver's defense is going to make that any easier for him.
And then we have the Packers at the Lions.
I'm going to take Packers.
So am I.
Part of me wants to take the Lions, but I don't think the Lions are that good.
Jags at Chiefs. This should be a really good game. I think the Jags calmed them down this week. I think the Jags are going to steal this.
Where is it at?
It's in Kansas City.
Oh, Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs are way too high on themselves, and I think that they're starting to feel themselves a little bit, and they play a top one, probably the best defensive, second best defense in football.
Best defense plays the best quarterback in football right now.
So I think the Rams have better defense, but
Rams do have a better defense right now.
Dolphins at Bengals. I'm gonna take the Bengals here.
Man, I don't want to take the Bengals, but I think I'm going to. I wish I could go. Fins up, dude.
I wish I could believe in the Dolphins, man, because they're 3-1. But
I need the Dolphins to win that game.
I hope they do. All right, Giants at Panthers. I'm taking the Panthers. I think the Giants look awful this year.
Yeah, I'm taking the Panthers too, especially since it's in Carolina. Giants have so many weapons. It's unfortunate that they're not good because it would be so fun to watch if they were. Yeah,
Barkley and Odell.
It would be so fun to watch if they were good.
Yeah. Titans at Bills. I'm taking the Titans.
I'm taking the Titans just because I don't think they're going to walk into that as a trap game because they're not a very good team either. So they're going to come out there playing hard for a win.
I hope they lose, though. Raiders at Chargers.
I'm definitely taking the Chargers in L.A.
Yeah. This is weird for me, man.
The Chargers.
I think the Raiders have more talent than people give them credit for.
I don't anymore. I used to. I was big on Derek Carr. I think I was wrong.
I'm going to take the Chargers too, just because they give me no reason not to think that they're a pretty good team.
Also, the Chargers had their trap game last week. Look at that score. Where's it at here? They only beat the 49ers by 2 points.
Yeah.
So that was their wake up. Like, okay, we got to play. They're not going to fall into that this week again like they did last week.
All right, we have the Cardinals at the Niners.
That one?
Snooze fest.
At the Niners. Oy.
That's a snooze fest of the week.
I'll take the Cardinals. I need to catch up on some picks.
Now watch that be the highest scoring game of the week. All right, we have the Rams at the Seahawks.
Rams.
I'm taking the Rams until they give me a reason not to.
Rams are too good.
We have the
Seahawks have been looking bad too. Really bad.
I mean, they don't really have any offensive weapons,
They
right?
have nothing. Russell is like by himself.
Yeah, trying to throw balls to himself. Vikings at the Eagles.
I'm going to take the Vikings.
Okay.
Eagles haven't played like crazy good, and the Vikings almost beat the Rams last week. Kirk Cousins is a beast.
I'm going to take the Eagles here. It's in Philly. I think Carson Wentz is really going to start to heat up here soon. All right, we have the Cowboys at the Texans.
I'm going to take the Texans.
Yes, so am I. The Cowboys have really been...
I am not a believer of the Cowboys this year. I'm just not.
Actually, I'm actually going to take the Cowboys.
Good.
I think that...
Good.
I think Zeke is really...
I took the Texans. You put Cowboys for both.
And our last matchup of the week, we have the Redskins at the Saints. I'll take the Saints as well.
All day. Saints all day on that one.
All right, guys. Well, that'll do us for this week of the Baltimore Breakdown. Thank you guys so much. If you're listening on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating, give us a thumbs up, and leave us a comment on whatever or comment or question on whatever platform that you're on, and we'll be sure to answer those questions or comments next week. Thank you guys so much. My name is Cakes Mitchell and Ooker Dooker, the Baltimore Breakdown. We're out.